Hello everybody, my name is Nick, and today you can find me at Chapel Heath Station. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to take the rail and sail ticket from London to Ireland, costing a grand total of £53.90. Is it worth it? Let's have a look. So today we're going to start our journey in Chapel Heath and take the train to Liverpool Street on the Elizabeth line, where we'll change from another Elizabeth line train to London Paddington. And from London Paddington, we take the Great Western Railway service to Swansea, and from Swansea we take the Transport for Wales service to Fishguard Harbour, where we'll meet our ferry. The ferry is run by Stena line and will take us the final way across to Rosslare Europort. So I arrived promptly for my train on the Elizabeth line from Chapel Heath at 6:20 AM. The train that pulls in is a Class 345. The Class 345s were built between 2015 and 2019 for TfL rail services, and later to be known now as Elizabeth Line. The train has a capacity of 450 seated, or 1500 including standees, and as we board you'll soon see why. So as you can see, there is some facing seating, however most of the seating is longitudinal, which leaves a lot more space for standees, thus creating the extra capacity required for the London core section. Here's a shot after we just arrived at London Liverpool Street. Again nicely on time, with plenty of time to spare for my next service, another Elizabeth Line train. To find the other Elizabeth Line train we've got to go across the concourse and down through to the underground section. However, I thought I'd take some time first to admire the architecture at Liverpool Street Station, as it is quite grand. Having originally opened in 1874, and by 1895 having the most platforms of any London terminal. And this title was held until London Victoria expanded in 1908 to have even more platforms. Liverpool Street Station is named after the road outside, Liverpool Street, which in turn the street had been named after the Tory Prime Minister, Robert Jenkinson, the 2nd Earl of Liverpool in 1829. The station itself was designed by Great Eastern Railways engineer Edward Wilson, and built by the Lucas brothers. The roof was designed and constructed by the Fairbairn Engineering Company. The overall design was approximately Gothic, built using stock bricks and Bath stone dressings. For the extension in 1895, a new roof was built over the new construction. The outer wall was constructed with Staffordshire blue brick and Ruabon bricks. The 4 train shed roofs were carried out by Messrs. Handyside & Co., supervised by Mr. Sherlock, the resident engineer. All the foundations, earthwork and brickwork were carried out by Molem & Co. This new construction enabled Liverpool Street Station by 1912 to handle around 200,000 passengers a day on 1,000 separate trains, in contrast to the original construction, which could only handle up to 600 trains per day. Up until 1923, the railway station and its trains were run by the Great Eastern Railway. But due to the Railways Act 1921, the station and its trains were taken over by London North Eastern Railway, or LNER. The station itself was originally designed to incorporate London Underground from the get-go, with Liverpool Street originally being the terminus for the Metropolitan line, and today the station is an interchange between the District line, the Metropolitan line, the Circle line, the Hammersmith and City line, and the Central line, along with national rail services from the Great Eastern Main Line, the West Anglia Main Line, and Elizabeth Line services. But for now I just want to take a really quick moment to show you this really cool lift on the new Elizabeth Line station at Liverpool Street. The lift being more akin to the great glass elevator out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This lift doesn't just go up and down, but it goes backwards and forwards as well. The lift follows the rake of the escalator at 30% gradient. Interestingly, the speed at which this lift travels matches the speed of the escalators right next to it. And in the reflection on the other side you can see me, my camera, my backpack and my massive suitcase, which is one of the benefits of the rail and sail ticket that we're using today, that you can carry oversized baggage free of charge. Anyway, down we go. And back onto the Elizabeth line downstairs. And here's an interesting fact. The Elizabeth line is 9 stories underground. So even though there are not 9 exits to this lift or any other exits on the other concourse areas, the lifts show -9 and -2, which is just for this intermediate concourse down to the platforms. Anyway, here's your map showing the Elizabeth line and where we have to change trains today at Paddington, as you can see by the interconnecting dots at the Paddington Station stop on this map. You can also see that Moorgate and the Northern line are signposted in Liverpool Street Elizabeth line. This is because it's a new link where the stations are all interconnected. Anyway, here comes our train for the rest of the journey on the Elizabeth line through to Paddington. And our journey time today will be just 10 minutes, which is incredible considering it used to take me 25. And there's me and me case again. All of the new platforms on the Elizabeth line have step-free access, as you can see. And after boarding this class 345, again we can see the longitudinal seating on these units, which provide the additional capacity there, as I said earlier, for 1,500 people. And now we've reached London Paddington, so we're going to go upstairs and have a look around. And here we can see the old versus the new. On the left hand side is a Class 57 with Mark III sleeper coaching stock. This is the only loco hauled set out at Paddington, which can be seen here twice a day, apart from on Saturdays. London's Paddington Station opened originally in 1854. Although most of the design work was done by the great Disembarking the Ferry, most of the architectural detailing was actually by his associate, Matthew Digby Wyatt. Inspiration was taken from Joseph Paxton's Crystal Palace and the München Hauptbahnhof. The glazed roof is supported by wrought iron arches into 3 spans. The central span is 102 feet or 31 metres. The outer spans span 68 feet or 21 metres respectively. The roof is 699 feet long or 210 metres. We've arrived half an hour early, so the train now in platform 8 is a local service out to Didcot, whereas we're going to wait for that one to go and for the Swansea train to come in, also on platform number 8. Paddington has its own statue of Disembarking the Ferry, who only lived an additional 4 more years after the station was completed, to the age of 53. And here's our train for a rail and sail ticket, the 7:48 to Swansea, where we currently sit in the waiting area awaiting the platform to be announced. However, we know a little trick. I checked on real-time trains so I could see what platform it was already in, which was platform number 8, and this is our Class 800 that we'll be taking today. And I think this is a nice touch from GWR. They've stuck on transfers onto the side of their Class 800s, supporting the women's team in the Euro 2022 Cup final, and it's safe to say, it came home. This will be my office for the next 2.5 hours. As you can see, nice open space, very suitable for working, where I'm actually editing this video. Not all seats line up perfectly with the windows, however, the seat that I've found does. And I'm going to get on now with some editing. As we leave Paddington, the train leaves on electric power, and we'll keep on this electric power up as far as Cardiff. The acceleration on these new Class 800s, from what I remember, is a lot faster than the HSTs that they replaced.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the 748 Great Western Railway service to Swansea. We'll be calling at Reading, Swindon, Bristol Parkway, Newport, Cardiff Central, Bridgend, Portobello Parkway, Leith and Swansea. That's all you want to please keep a close eye on personal belongings. You should see any suspicious packages or suspicious reacting people, please report them to a member of staff. Or you can contact Beating Police by texting or 61016. Find first class today in the rear two coaches K and L. Standard class will find in the front 7. And just a reminder that if you are seated in coach A at the very front, that this is our quiet carriage. If you are seated in A, please refrain from using mobile phones and please keep them to a minimum. Our first stop in 25 minutes will be ready.
Here's a short clip of us running at 125 miles an hour between Paddington and Reading. And this now is our approach into Cardiff, the end of the electrification. Once we've stopped at Cardiff, the train will lower its pantograph, which is the part that makes contact with the overhead line equipment for the electricity, and the train will start its diesel engines ready to proceed further up to Swansea.
That's weird. I might just get your GWR app. Yeah, because I think it might be something.
Anyway, I'm going to leave you with the images of the approach up to Cardiff, just because I think it's interesting.
Details. Place 00. I'm gonna just screenshot that and twat them. I tend to get back in about 5 minutes. So going, I like mention them all the time on Twitter. Well, it's like, I've been stuck in Manchester for an hour. Can you tell us where we're going?
How do you have a bike?
How are you doing it?
I should have a look. It's like sort of 15, 54 minute
What app are you on?
train ride.
Is this for two people?
Yeah.
What's the 523 one?
Now here's something new for the channel, the first ever loo review. I never saw myself doing one of these, but here we are. The toilet seems quite clean, all the facilities seem to work, so we've got water, eventually. There you are. We've got some soap. Brilliant. And, well, better wash that off, hadn't I, really? And the dryer, which does work eventually. Hello. The Class 800s have at-seat reservations. However, my ticket was not a reservable ticket. You can tell from down the carriage whether a seat's reserved by the colour of the light. Mine being green meant they were available. Now this is us on the approach to Swansea, and on the left-hand side of the train we pass the Hitachi train care depot, where the Class 800s are prepared for service for every morning. At Swansea, this will be the end of our Great Western Railway's train trip, we'll be transferring over to the Transport for Wales service to continue our journey through all the way up to Fishguard. And now I've completed the journey on the Great Western portion, I feel qualified now to tell you whether I found the seats comfy, and this is up for debate between a lot of people. Personally, I find the seats, although are quite hard, are quite ergonomically suited to me, so I found the seat quite comfortable. In fact, I found these seats more comfortable for me than the HST seats they've replaced, which I'm probably going to get an absolute grilling for saying in the comments down below. And here is Swansea, this train's destination. The train that you see now is the service through to Fishguard Harbour. It's formed of a pair of Class 153s, and these will depart in half an hour's time, so we're going to hang around on the platform for a little bit and watch some other trains come in. And here we can see the Class 800 we just left. I sat myself in coach B, which was the second coach towards the front of the train, which meant when I got to Swansea I had little walking to do to get around to the next platform. And there again is my suitcase. Oh, and a train. And as we can see here, the 153s are actually rather suited to this journey due to the massive space they have for luggage room, which provides some amazing leg room. This is the type of seat we're sitting in. Again, it's not uncomfortable, it's quite adequate really. However, not all of the seats line up with the windows. And here we are after half an hour at Swansea, making way to Fishguard Harbour. This Class 153 is actually carved as an express train, which on most lines wouldn't be suitable. However, on the line to Fishguard Harbour the maximum speed is 70 miles an hour, and these trains are only capable of up to 75, which fits ideally. With this train only calling at Llanelli, Whitland, Clarbeston Road on request, Fishguard and Goodwick and Fishguard Harbour, with a total journey time of 1 hour and 29 minutes. As you can see out the window now, the journey does take in some rather spectacular views across the different bays it goes around. After we pass through Llanelli, our route takes us up the River Torrey, which is just as impressive as all of the coastal routes as well. This service, being express for a ferry, is one of the only services that takes the Carmarthen avoiding line, as can be seen here on the junction, as we pass by all the units and buildings on the outskirts of Carmarthen. And here's where the line diverges. The line diverging is the line into Carmarthen itself. As we round this tight left-hand corner, we'll eventually see the line coming back on from Carmarthen. And here's the line back from Carmarthen. And lucky me, I get to do my second ever loo review all in the same day. And on the Class 153, because they only have one toilet, it has to be DDA compliant, which means it's always going to be of the larger size. Again, it's rather clean. All the facilities seem to work, eventually. and there's enough space to swing 2 cats at the same time. Yep, that works. Hello. The gentleman you can see going up the stairs is the signalman. He's just passed a token on to the driver. This authorises the train driver to take the train up the single line stretch between Clarbeston Road and Fishguard Harbour. Also to note, this train has a full refreshment trolley service, even for just the 2 carriages, due to it being part of a long distance service, where they know passengers are actually using the train for the rail and sail ticket. Anyways, not far to go now, we've reached Fishguard and Goodwick, which is just 1 stop away from the harbour itself, and literally just a few minutes down the line. As we depart Fishguard and Goodwick, I'm going to leave the camera rolling now because the sights are quite interesting. We'll get to see across the bay at Fishguard, into the harbour, and the first view of our ferry.
We should be arriving at Fishguard Harbour at final station.
And sneaking into view now is our Stena line ferry, the Stena Europe. And as we arrive, you can see they're currently boarding all the vehicles onto the ferry right now. There's half an hour between the train arriving and the ferry departing, so you must make sure as soon as you get off the train you do go and queue up at the check-in desk. The station rather conveniently has its own check-in desk for passengers transferring onto the ferry, and we'll see a little bit of that in a moment.
These people have a long boat journey over.
And here is that check-in desk, so make sure that you have your rail and sail ticket out ready to be inspected and provided a boarding pass. And it's at this point they're going to ask for your name and birth date so they can add you to the passenger manifest. The closed gates, which you can see with passenger check-in wrote above them, is actually the security area, and we'll be going through there shortly, where they may check your bags. So please do make sure you don't have anything that you shouldn't have. Once you've checked in, they'll give you a tag to put on your luggage. This allows you to check in your luggage so you don't have to carry it on board. And here is the distance from the train to the check-in area. As you can see, it's not very far at all, and it's rather convenient. I decided to have a little peek outside whilst I was waiting for the security to open. And right now the security has opened, so we're now queuing up to get in. Here they'll check your boarding pass and allow you entry. I didn't film through the security, for obvious reasons, but it only took me a minute or so. Now I'm going to show you the complete walk up to the transfer bus, so you'll know what to expect before you go. Here is where you leave your luggage trolley should you have used the luggage trolley to get your luggage to this point. And on the right hand side as we queue up now, you can see the luggage van, where you'll also queue up to put your luggage in. So make sure the tag is on the luggage. Now my luggage is safely stowed in the van, I'm going to make my way to the bus. Today we have a choice of 2 buses. There's this bus, which is the low floor bus, which is good for anybody with mobility issues. And we're going to head over to the other minibus, which doesn't have a low floor and is not step free, but it was going to leave first, so we got on that one. And this is the view from on board. We're about to set off for our journey onto the ferry. It's just a short journey onto the ferry, but there are no foot passengers allowed beyond that point, so you do have to get on the bus. On the right hand side there you can see the track that we just come down and the crossing just in the distance as we turn to make our way onto the ferry. Now the bus is just going up the ramp onto the ferry itself, and we'll be shortly allowed to disembark the bus and go up the stairs into the main passenger area on the ferry. And rather conveniently, the bus stops right outside the stairs, which will take us up to the passenger area on the ferry. For those of us that are mobility impaired, there is also a lift. For those of us that are not, do be prepared, there are quite a few stairs to go up. And this is us approaching the top of the stairs, where I'll do a quick walk around of the ferry to show you the facilities on offer. As you can see, it is quite big, and this is the advantage over flying the route as well, is that you get to stretch your legs at any time, and there's no stress in it either. Now on the left hand side, approaching, you can see there is a play area for kids. To the left hand side now is the reception area, so if you do require any information or you've lost a child, this is the place to come. Up those stairs on the left hand side that we just passed are access to the cabins if you booked a cabin where you can have a bed, or you can go upstairs to the restaurant area which is also there. Moving down this way is my favourite area. It's the cafe and bar area. I usually sit around this area because there's plug sockets to be found every now and then, and I plug my laptop in and get to work. As could be seen here, I've sat down and I'm now editing this video together a bit more, along with a nice cold beer. Now disembarking the ferry, it's exactly the same as the way we got on, but in reverse. Just listen to the announcements as you'll be getting off as the last set of passengers down to the transfer bus that will go through customs and then deposit you outside the terminal building ready to pick up your luggage. Here's a quick word of warning, do have your IDs ready at this point. If you are British or Irish, a driver's licence will suffice, but if you come from further afield outside the European Union, you're going to need your passport, and you're also most likely going to need a visa as well, unless your country has an agreement. As you can see here, this immigration chap is quite the character.
British citizens may not be part of Europe.
Well, no, it's a person. Are you part of the immigration
Yeah,
department?
100%. Yeah.
Well, what's the 99%?
And he's part of the transport department.
I'm not an immigrant.
He's superintendent for
I'm going home, don't worry. I'm not an immigrant.
Yeah.
I'm on a quote.
Glad to get back.
After immigration is done, we're going to head on now into the security area. At this point they may search your bags again, and they most likely will bring the sniffer dog on. I'm going to let this video play out now, just so you can see what the experience is like.
Yeah. I'm not sure which ones they are. Are they the Connemara?
I don't know, I've never had a stamp in my passport.
Why is he carrying stamps now?
That's gone long time ago. I just want one. Well, I've got an Irish passport anyway, so it's just that you're
No, just to the sport about 20 miles. What are you on a holiday?
Just going up to the horse show.
Or Dublin?
Go to Dublin.
Very nice. So how are you getting from here?
Friends of mine picked me up. They live in Bridgetown. 10 miles from your
Oh, Bridgetown.
yeah.
Oh, somebody's dropped a lead there. Does that belong to anyone there?
Oh, that was me, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, it's on juicy.
Success. Nothing bad to be found this time. And now on we go out to the terminal building.
My friend's got one of them.
Yeah, we just have a nose. Whereabouts are you travelling to?
I'm meeting a friend here.
Oh, right.
We're going on a missionary tour.
Oh, that sounds great.
And here is the terminal building, the green bus being the other bus that picked up passengers from the ferry. As you can see here, it deposits you right outside, and I've gone to get on the number 40 coach back to Waterford. This coach is not included on the rail and sail fare, but I thought I'd include it anyway to show you how easy it is to transfer across. So there's the two buses that we got off of, and on the left hand side there's that van that we loaded our baggage onto. So it's an incredibly short walk and very, very convenient. Well, that's it for this journey. If you've liked what you've seen, do hit that subscribe button and do click the like. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.